Check it out.
Welcome to Black History Month on 98.7 FM. A warm greetings to listeners and all members of our community. I want to welcome you into this space. And now, for the first time ever, you are going to gain a special insight into the philosophy and opinions of one of the greatest men to have ever walked this earth. We've been celebrating a remarkable life and legacy throughout the 31 days of October as we bring you the resurrection of Marcus Mosiah Garvey, a series which will be presented by me, Jermaine Brown, featuring 31 brothers from across our community, all chosen to resurrect different speeches, articles and essays from Marcus Garvey daily.
Just some mad cool out.
Now, before we get into today's main speech, here's some important information that you need to know about the man, the myth, the movement and the legend. Marcus Mosiah Garvey was the founder and organizer of the largest independent black movement in the world, the Universal Negro Improvement Association and the African Communities League. At the heights of success, the organization had a worldwide membership of over 11 million subscribed members. Now, this was an excellent feat, especially when we consider that this happened during a time of no smartphones, no internet, and no social media, and during the midst of 2 world wars. Yet he dared to travel the world, even to non-English speaking regions, spreading his message of self-love and empowerment. Now, this was at a time when it was particularly dangerous for black men and women to wander outside of their own homes. But these factors did not stop the man and the movement, for he had at his disposal an unmatched confidence. He did not fear failure. He did not care about the laughter and the ridicule hurled at him, for he had a fearless passion for the advancement of black people worldwide that fueled his mission. Now, I'm intrigued to know more about the mind of this man and how he accomplished so much. What can I take from him that I can apply to my life today? I wonder.
So in the case of slavery, it ain't hard, because it's right in the eyes of their God. Where is our God? The God that represents us, the God that looks like me, the God that I could trust. A God of peace and love, not mass hysteria. I don't want a God that blesses America. I could never really vote for the devil. Let me take you to a higher level.
This is program 22 of our series. We have 9 speeches left, with our 9-day countdown starting from now. So far in the series, we have brought you speeches from as early as 1913. That is 106 years ago, when Marcus Garvey was 26 years of age. Also, up to 81 years ago, when he was in his 50s. We have an exciting range of speeches to share with you over the next coming days. So far, we have broadcasted 21 shows, and where possible, we replay speeches as and when to accommodate your daily schedules. With that said, we move on to today's speech. Today's speech was delivered in Jamaica at Edelweiss Park. It is this speech that gives us the classic Garvey statement, "I am here because I have been, man, through the ages." It was printed in the UNIA's Blackman newspaper, July 19th, 1929. This speech is titled God, Man, and the Rule of Intelligence. Today's narration is by Dennis Hamilton from Birmingham, UK.
I pray to you for the light you might give them. Mother, make them know that you're living within them.
You are listening to an Honor Level production featuring the Resurrection of Marcus Mosiah Garvey series.
It was Benjamin Franklin who says, God gives all things to industry. There is much in those few words. Unfortunately, the Negro's outlook and philosophy of life has been wrong, and because it has been wrong, he has suffered much. Man, who is God's masterpiece, recognizes that all which constitute the world is God's offering to him, and in accepting the offering, he has so intelligently conducted himself as to make the world what to him it ought to be. The things that man has so successfully done to arrest the admiration of others and to merit the praise of God are the things that God originally intended him to do. It was Napoleon who, in the midst of one of his campaigns, was interrogated and asked this question: on whose side is God in this war? Napoleon turned and answered, God is on the side of the strongest battalion. That was a confirmation of Franklin's thoughts. God gives all things to industry. All that you see in the world, that man adores. All that you can visibly see and apprehend is God's blessing. God's blessing upon the individual who has done it. God's blessing upon the people who are responsible for it. God's greatest work is the making of man. In the making of man by God, He grants a sovereignty to the individual that has never been in dispute, but which is still existent. That sovereignty places man in a position to so create, to so work, to so achieve, that in this accomplishment follows God's blessing, irrespective of the color, irrespective of the race, irrespective of the particular man or people. God's blessing is a manifestation everywhere. And when you see the white race prospering, it is no wonder that they feel happy, that they confirm that truth. God's lesson, because it is written in the stars and the elements that God blesses industry. We, because of our peculiar understanding of life, have accepted the strange and often dangerous idea that to be meek and humble is to merit God's blessing. To the contrary, to be meek and humble is to merit God's curse. Because God's blessing, as it is written, and as it is said, is the industry, is the work of man. And the Universal Negro Improvement Association come at this time supporting Benjamin Franklin in his thought. It is by your work that you shall be blessed. It is by your work that you shall be recognized as a worthy son of the Creator. It is man's duty to build the world around us that we desire for ourselves. Man, remember that outside of God, you are an absolute creator. Outside of God, there is no power on earth to subjugate you but your own power. Man, when he recognizes and appreciates himself and his fellows, is able to rise above all else in the world. But man, because man is man's equal, God has a special blessing for the industrious man, the laborer, the worker who will seek his bread by the sweat of his brow and the intelligence of his mind. Oh, if I could touch the heart of the Negro, of every black man, woman and child, to realize how much a responsibility falls upon your shoulders to make the world what it ought to be for yourselves, for your children, posterity, and your race. Oh, what a beautiful world I have in my mind. What a beautiful world in my vision of 11 million members of the Universal Negro Improvement Association trying to get the 400 million members of our race to see this beautiful world of an emancipated race. And Africa redeemed of millions of black men standing together proudly as Rome stood, as the empires of England, Spain, France, and Russia stand. Then you will have the thoughts and determination to construct and rebuild your heritage and earn God's blessings. The man with superior intelligence will survive in this world where intelligence will dominate the affairs of men, and we are in the terrible struggle towards the end. We are fighting like animals. We have reduced all other animals whose strength could not measure up to the superior intelligence of man. So we are engaged now in the battle of man, in the battle of nations, so that one race must put its intelligence against the other. The North American Indians, the continental Aborigines have gone down, and now Africa is violated by the intelligence of the world, and 400 million Negroes under the leadership of the Universal Negro Improvement Association throw back the challenge. So long as there is God, as long as there is a heaven, as long as the elements exist, and man is man, the black man, so help me God, shall not go down, and shall not accept defeat, but he shall carry the banners of man's work under the leadership of the red, black, and green, so that when time is no more, when matter shall have crumbled into dust, the black man shall survive to give an account to God, his creator. I am here because I have been man through the ages.
You have just listened to an Honor Level production.
There was good and evil. We chose good. Why raise the time of the Most High, ye sons of men?
You've just been listening to God, Man, and the Rule of Intelligence, originally delivered July 1929. This concludes day 22, and we just want to thank Dennis Hamilton for today's narration. Dennis is a tailor and retailer of headwear and fashion accessories and has been for over 30 years. He's the owner of Hatman in Birmingham City Centre on Stevenson Street.
I wanna rule my destiny. Yeah, I wanna rule my destiny.
His life stands as a testimony to Marcus Garvey's work. Dennis says, Marcus Garvey has inspired me of the importance of self-resilience and the building of an economy for black people. We welcome your comments, opinions, and feedback on the Resurrection of Marcus Garvey series so far. Should you wish to share, you can by email on honourlevel@hotmail.co.uk. That's on-a-level@hotmail.co.uk.
Spiritual hope, wisdom overstanding must never be too much. Give I protection day and night from even the pestilence that walk at a daylight. Destiny, mama look from when you calling. Destiny, mama look from when you calling. I wanna rule my destiny. Yeah, oh, help I please. Jaja make me rule my destiny.
As you know, in this series, we are paying homage to Marcus Mosiah Garvey, as Black History Month is all about celebration. So join me to give a few shout outs, starting with Garvey's parents, Mama Sarah Jane Richards and Pops Marcus Garvey Sr. We also want to pay homage to those esteemed ancestors who paved the way for Marcus to appear on the world stage. We also pay homage to the graduates of the School of African Philosophy and all of the founding members and supporters of the UNIA. Last but not least, we pay special homage and tribute to his esteemed wife, Amy Jakes Garvey, who was a formidable leader in her own right. Mrs. Garvey kept her husband's legacy alive, and it is partly because of her loving efforts that we can share this groundbreaking series with you today. Tune in tomorrow at the same time for the Resurrection of Marcus Mosiah Garvey. With me, Jermaine Brown. I'm going to leave you with the famous anthem that Marcus Garvey and the UNIA members had wanted to be adopted as the universal anthem for black people across the globe. Let's take a moment to listen and feel free to wave your red, black and green flag should you have one.
You can accomplish what you will.
Ethiopia, thou land of our fathers, thou land where the gods love to be. A storm cloud at night suddenly gathers, all armies come rushing to thee. We must in the fight be victorious, when swords are thrust outward to gleam. For us will the victory be glorious, when led by the red, black and green. Advance, advance to victory, let Africa be free. Advance to meet the foe, advance to meet the foe. With the might of the red, the black and the green. With the might of the red, the black and the green. O Jehovah, thou God of the ages, grant unto our sons that need the the wisdom thou gave to thy sages when Israel was sore in need. Thy voice to the dim past has spoken, Ethiopia shall stretch forth her hand. By thee shall all fetters be broken, and heaven bless our dear motherland. And by